Now, for those of y'all who don't know, Noriega, Gillie, and Wallo are on record accusing actor, writer, and director Romany Malco of modeling his feature film Tijuana Jackson Purpose Over Prison after Wallo's life story. They saying some really hurtful shit, and they seem certain that Romany Malco crafted the entire story after Wallo's life. In an attempt to get to the bottom of these harsh accusations and suss out the truth, I reached out to Romany Malco and asked him to come on the show. Surprisingly, he agreed. Yes, Romany Malco and I worked together on the film Tijuana Jackson Purpose Over Prison, which is available pretty much everywhere: Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, On Demand, YouTube, etc. Y'all better do like Metamucil and back this shit. Now, this is the same movie that Gillie and Wallo say Romany Malco stole right out of Wallo's life story. You may know him from films like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Think Like a Man, and Night School, TV shows such as Weeds and A Million Little Things. Let's have a big round of applause for Romany Malco.
Hey, what's up, TJ? I appreciate the introduction. And thank you for having me on the show, man.
No doubt, my pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Normally, I'd have went off on these crumb suckers, but they seem so convinced. I thought a better idea would be to check in with the man who wrote and directed the movie about my life. That's right, my life. So you seen the clip, huh?
Oh yeah, I saw it eventually, and I guarantee you that by the time we get through talking, you, your supporters, all of my supporters, Gille and Wallo's fans are gonna know for a fact that it was physically impossible for me to steal Wallo's story.
Okay, you get your chance, but how'd you feel when you first saw that shit?
Bro, I've been getting bullied and tested all my life, so this was nothing new to me.
Well, how'd you first hear about it?
When the trailer first came out, there were some people in the comments and they were like, yo, this is Wallo's story. You stole Wallo's story. Give Wallo credit. And I was like, who the hell is Wallo? And really, I didn't really have a lot of time to deal with it at the time because I was actually in the process of promoting the movie. But also, I didn't want to go searching and figure it out because I didn't want to play into the negativity, one. And two, I didn't want my digital footprint to cross paths with his digital footprint in the event that this was going to become a legal issue. And I ain't gonna front, I was a little scared too because I was like, what if this is some Suge Knight looking dude?
So did you defend yourself?
Defend myself against who? The people in the comments? No, dude, I ain't got time for that. Okay, at first, no, I didn't.
Why not?
Because I always start on the premise of the truth will eventually come to light, and I also didn't want to trigger any more toxicity, really. Plus, I was busy promoting our movie, as you remember, and I was busy getting my girlfriend pregnant with our 6-month-old.
I'm a little surprised to hear you say girlfriend.
Why are you surprised? I don't get it.
No reason. I just thought you was gay, but let's just stay on track. So you never responded to all the negative comments from people trying to sabotage your movie release?
First of all, you gotta remember that this ain't no big studio movie. Ain't no studio doing a bunch of marketing. It was an independent film. We cut out the middleman, and so it was up to me to wrangle my talent to do press. And remember, it was at the height of the pandemic, so I really didn't have time to be dealing with the petty, and I usually don't indulge in the comments and stuff like that anyway. But the cool thing was, folks who's been following us online for the last 10 years was all in the comments on top of folks saying, if you look at the Tijuana Jackson channel, which has been around for 10 years, and your boy just got out of prison, how in the hell is TJ copying your boy and not the other way around? Folks were defending you, bro. They were defending you, they were defending me. It was nice to see. And that's what really surprised me is how Noriega, Gillie, and Wallo went in without doing the slightest bit of research. Like when I say slightest, all they had to do was to look up the character's YouTube channel and watch one 4-minute video. Watch one 10-year-old 4-minute video, bam, conversation ended. There's no debate, no question who's been doing this life coaching shit online for what? A decade. Easy a decade. Hell, we got a 2-page write-up in the New York Times in 2012. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
I remember that first line. I remember that first sentence. It said Romany Malco was doing a live comedy show online playing Tijuana Jackson, a prison-hardened life coach.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I remember when I showed it to you, you got so pissed off.
Yeah, I was pissed off. I don't know why they had to put your name first when it's my show.
But that's back when you used to do your courses live stream on Justin TV. Folks don't even know about Justin TV.
So let's get back to Suck D and Paper Slave, Public Enemy Number Crumbs.
Hey, TJ, I'm not doing that, okay?
Not doing what?
The name calling, the negativity. Them dudes in that room had enough toxicity for all of us. And if you're gonna feed into the negativity, I can't be a part of this interview.
I just wait till you gone. So how do you claim you formulated the story for the Tijuana Jackson movie anyway?
Look, for anybody listening, this is basically the story of my dad, right? When I look at you, that's what I see. I see my dad. The whole TJ swag to me is just the immaculate conception of my father. You see how, like, in the movie, when TJ comes home from prison, the first thing he does is he gets his machete and he goes looking for little Eric. You see the shortcuts that he takes in life, right? You see how big his heart is? He's flawed, but he's got this really big heart. How he take care of his family. That's exactly who my dad was.
Man, for a second there, I thought you was crying because you thought Gillie and Wallo was gonna whoop your ass.
Man, when I see Gillie and Wallo, and you let them know that I said when I see them, I'm gonna give them props because that dick holster shit made me laugh.
So obviously they didn't look at the YouTube channel despite the fact that the receipts are right there, date stamps and everything.
Man, they didn't even have to go to your YouTube channel. All they had to do you remember the first video of yours that got ripped? It got ripped in 2011. Where did they post it? Someone posted it on World Star and it said, man, this dude is intense. That was 2011, a World Star post. Folks were in there debating whether or not it was you or it was me.
That's right, I ain't getting no royalties from that shit neither. You know who did pay me good though?
Who?
I think it was in 2013, we did a deal with them Loud Advice dudes. Them white boys hooked us up.
Well, since we doing shout outs, you know who else hooked us up is HBO and Funny or Die. That was, what was that, like in 2012, right?
Oh, that's right, my TV debut, Life Coach with a Goon Hand. Look, man, fuck all this memory lane shit. You said you eventually started to say something back to these clout chasers. You let them know that they can't gaslight a brother that run on diesel?
Man, I ain't say none of them brothers, dude. I just wanted my supporters to know what the truth was, that's all. One thing I learned from you, TJ, is that people get too comfortable with their faults and shortcomings. That's why no one ever admits to making mistakes. That's why grown men to this day struggle to apologize. People don't realize it. But in order to spread toxicity, your brain and body first has to create those chemicals. And as far as people throwing shade in the comments, even when presented with the facts, it's not going to change their minds. So indulging them is a waste of time. But I admit it, I got baited and I eventually started responding to folks and I was like, yo, y'all got this twisted. I do not even know who Wallo is, because at the time I didn't, right? And I was like, if y'all keep pushing this issue, y'all gonna turn this into a legal matter. They were downvoting my movie wherever they could because their goal was to ruin the credibility of our movie. So I wasn't gonna let them hijack our movie. I had to defend that.
At this point, you had seen the video with Noriega, Gillie, and them accusing you of stealing Wallo's life story, calling you out your name.
No, honestly, at that point, I hadn't seen the video. It wasn't until 10 months after the fact that I saw the video. But that's what kind of got me worked up, is seeing drunk people who know absolutely nothing about me spit so much violent hate. I was like, damn, one YouTube search would have squashed that whole misunderstanding.
So what'd you do?
I sent it to all my homies. I sent it to most of the producers I knew. I sent it to most of the directors that I knew, because a lot of them were the ones who helped me figure out how to connect the dots to directing my own movie to begin with.
What'd your homies say?
It was a mixed bag, because most of them had never really heard of Gillie and Wallo, and those who did didn't really have great things to say about them.
What do you mean?
Like I said, TJ, I'm not gonna get into the negativity of it, but what a lot of them told me to do was just ignore it. Do not reply.
What did Hollywood say, and why you even send it to your producers?
Well, first of all, you gotta remember that Will Packer Productions are the executive producers on our movie, so I had to check in with them. I've been talking to them about making this movie since the first Think Like a Man. They didn't know who Gillie and Wallo was neither. In fact, none of the producers that I sent it to knew who Gillie and Wallo was, and they were all saying the same thing. Just ignore that shit. Please don't feed into that drama.
What'd your attorney say?
At first, I thought they were good dudes because I saw that they were doing a lot of cool stuff for the community, so I didn't really try to make it into a legal issue. I didn't reach out to an attorney.
So when did Wallo get out of prison anyway?
Well, that's the $1 million question. And here comes $1 million worth of shame. Wallace Peoples, aka Wallo267, finished his 20-year bid in the state of Pennsylvania, February 17th of 2017.
Wait. Dude just got out the joint February 17th of 2017?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
When the hell did we film the movie?
Why you acting like you don't know? March of 2017, we were filming our movie. February of 2017, we had already cast our main cast. We needed one final main cast character, and that was gonna be played by Tammy Roman. By this point, I had already gotten the investors' money. I had already did all the crowdfunding money. And just for the record, I actually gave the investors the script. They read it, and then they sat on it. Here go like all the different drafts. You can see how Google just puts like a timestamp on each email, but these are all the different drafts that I was sending out to my producers. Between 2010 and 2017, I'd probably written about 60 drafts of this movie. So now the investors had the script and they weren't really moving on it. And I was living in Puerto Rico at the time, but I knew that I had to do something to incentivize my investors to commit. So I started a crowdfunding campaign to raise some money for the movie and to prove to my investors that Tijuana Jackson actually had a built-in audience, people that would be really interested in seeing this movie. Here you can see it right here on Indiegogo. I raised over 200 grand by October of 2016. And that is exactly when my investors were like, yo, I'm in. Now keep in mind, this is 4 to 5 months before Wallo had even gotten out of prison. We also had to file an LLC for the movie. Here's a list of all the payments paid to the attorney to negotiate the deal between me and the investors. So like I said, in February of 2017, before Wallo had even gotten out of prison, I had already cast our movie. You can't cast a movie without a script. Ain't no actor, especially Regina Hall, especially Tammy Roman, especially Elkoya Brunson, especially Bajalyn Odom. These are working actors who are busy. They ain't agreeing to be in no movie that ain't got no script. And look at this, February of 2017, the day before Wallo walks out of prison, we were already having our first production meeting with the crew that we had hired. Wardrobe, camera crew, grips, lighting, etc. Here's the email I got from my line producer the day before the shoot. This is the email. Look at the date on the email, March 20th of 2017. How do I steal someone's life story when their life really has only existed for a month outside of prison?
Wait up. If Walina walked out of the prison February 2017 after a 20-year bid, that means he was still in the halfway house when we was filming the fucking movie. This shit's stupid.
That's what I'm saying. It almost seems like you know, but you don't want to really acknowledge.
Man, there's got to be some legal ramification for this shit. If you have already hit the subscribe button, I thank you profusely. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, you probably one of them haters trying to copy my delivery, then say I stole your life story, huh? Especially if you just finished 20 years in 2017. I was casting my movie February of 2017 and shooting my movie in March of 2017. What did you do in that month? So fresh out the joint, you still pulling the stitches out your shit cannon, huh? Tag a hater for me. You might win one of these Academy t-shirts. These bulimic bullies can't stand to see folks eat. If you knew all this shit, why you ain't say something sooner?
Because when I started researching them, I was like, oh, these are actually really good dudes. They're trying to keep these kids off the streets. They just misspoke.
They what? That's ironic.
Ironic, why?
They trying to get kids out these streets? That's weird, because after the murder of George Floyd, people took to the streets, tired of these cops pulling up with these preconceived notions of black men based on skin color and persecuting black men without even taking a minute to hear their side of the story or be represented fairly in the court of law. And here we is, a room full of black men who claim to be helping keep kids off the streets, persecuting a black man publicly, berating a black man publicly, sent the hood to berate that black man publicly, never considering the sacrifices that black man made to get to where he is, never considering the danger they were putting his family in, never considering that they were taking food out his children's mouths, when all of it could have been clarified with a simple YouTube search. That's exactly how white supremacists been doing black men since they set foot on this continent. And now I'm hearing that they trying to help keep black men off the street. How? By instigating violence and My boy over at Boxing Science 2.0 told me jealousy is corrupt admiration. If you ask me, these dudes seem to feed off of one another's negativity. Folks like to seek out that predictable feedback to protect their ego rather than getting that real feedback that'll go deep like emo and help a Negro feed folks. I also sense a little desperation, maybe a little too overzealous for the limelight. You know how folks start out helping Negroes get some hood fame and get caught up in their egos?
The one thing that kind of got under my skin is that their fans are actually in the comments of that very video where they're talking all that smack. Their fans are in the comments saying, yo, you out of pocket. This dude been doing this character forever. All you gotta do is look up his YouTube channel. You way out of pocket, you crazy. Y'all testing positive for bullshit right now. You gotta do your research. So I'm assuming that by now, they have figured it out. It's been damn near a year, and not one brother, not Gillie, not Wallo, not Noriega, none of them have reached out and said, hey, yo, we misspoke. We kind of did you dirty on Noriega's show. Nothing. They just left it there like that. So I'm sitting here like, well, wait now. Wait a minute. That seems a little malicious. These brothers ain't doing, oh man. Dude, sorry. My little man just woke up. Oh, hell, my little man just woke up. All right, so I gotta go.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all them documents and timestamps with us. It really helped clarify that this dude Wallo was still in the halfway house while we was filming the damn movie. Take it easy, Wody. I appreciate you.
Hey man, I appreciate you too. Thank you for having me, but I got my daddy duties, bruh. You understand?
Look, man, if these dudes was really about the people, they'd have reached out to Romany from jump, got the facts, and then went from there. Nope. Instead, they did exactly what law enforcement, judicial system, and the media has always done to black men. They tried to dehumanize and disenfranchise an ambitious, peaceful brother, family man, and showed absolutely no remorse in the process. Damn near a year after the fact, they have never once made a mention to their audience that they may have been wrong, that they may have been mistaken. That's tyranny. And the truth is that even with the facts presented, there are some people that will only believe what best serves their appetite for negativity. Bars. That's what negative hurt men do, and it's a lot of hurt folks out there. You can bullshit your fans, but you can't bullshit your demons. It's not just who you are that holds you back, it's how you are that holds you back. Bars. That level of ignorance and anger will eat you from the inside out. But it's some dudes looking to these dudes as leaders, as mentors. And there's a responsibility that comes with that. There was an ample opportunity to set the example and handle it like men. Demonstrate to young brothers how to acknowledge your mistakes. Missed opportunity if you ask me. But I don't know if these dudes have the capacity to admit they mistakes. I always tell folks, a monkey never sees his own tail, don't be a fucking monkey. Hey, Noriega. You lost a fan, Wody. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tijuana Jackson. I'm a life coach with a goon hand. I'm also the founder of the Tijuana Jackson Academy. If you are interested in seeing the movie Tijuana Jackson Purpose Over Prison, which is about my life, all you got to do is go to TijuanaJackson.com and click watch the movie. Hey man, I want to thank all the supporters out there that helped make this movie. And I also want to thank the supporters that came to our defense when these dudes got to accusing folks of shit they ain't know nothing about. If it's one thing I learned, man, a wise man speaks because he got something to say, but a talk because you always got to say something, you heard me? Please visit my YouTube channel and be sure to subscribe. If you haven't already signed up to the Academy to get access to the full course, that's on you, homie, but life ain't gonna get better unless you do. Pause.